Hello YouTube, back once again with my film reviews, and the other day I saw the new Johnny Depp movie Black Mass. Yeah, let's talk about it. Well, the plot of this movie, it's a biopic about the infamous alliance made between the FBI and the famous Boston gangster Whitey Bulger, and basically how their alliance let Whitey Bulger become one of the biggest crime lords in all of Boston history. And yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go into good. Well, first, let's talk about the main selling point of this movie: Johnny Depp as Whitey Bulger. Now, Johnny Depp, I would like to say I'm a Johnny Depp fan. He has started some of my favorite movies of all time, like Edward Scissorhands, first Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Ed Wood, and but recently, it's been hard to defend Johnny Depp and call yourself a Depp fan, only for the fact I agree with most people. He has just seemed like he doesn't really care. He's just cashing paychecks at this point. But I gotta say, I'd say like the dead stretch was probably between Sweeney Todd to honestly his brief appearance of Into the Woods. He only got one musical number, but he did seem to put a lot of effort into it. And between that, though, he seemed to really just not care. But I gotta say, for this movie, let me just say, this is a definite return to form for Depp. He is just great in this movie as Whitey Bulger. Like I said, this is the first time in a while it actually feels like he's trying. Like, you can always tell he's trying in every scene. Like, he is able, you can believe why this guy could become like a crime lord, because like he like is so good at like switching from being like at first like really charming. Like there are points in this movie you will feel for this guy, even though you know what a horrible person he is, to being just being like a completely terrifying and awful, and like you're just like always uncomfortable when he's in this. You're like, oh god, what's gonna happen? Like, so he's Johnny Depp, and he was just badass in this movie. Just you never felt like you're just watching Depp act, just going like, oh ha ha, Depp, get you. I like the fact that you think you can sell yourself as a killer. No, he's just fantastic in this movie. So great job to Johnny Depp. Definitely return to form. But nice to have Johnny Depp back. Joel Edgerton. Joel Edgerton, he's been doing good as of late. Right off of writing, directing, and co-starring in The Gift. Joel Edgerton, he plays the FBI agent who sets up the alliance between the FBI and Whitey Bulger, and he's also great in this movie. One you can honestly believe at first he like does believe what he's doing is for the greater good, because what he's doing, it's not like they're giving this guy immunity because they just want to give this guy immunity. No, it's because they want him. They offer him immunity in return that like basically they want information about the Boston Mafia, and when they do bring down the Boston Mafia for him, you can honestly believe Joel Edgerton, even though like he knows Whitey Bulger is doing some terrible things. He honestly does. You can honestly make the argument he does believe he is doing this is all for the greater good in the end, because they're bringing down the Mafia through him. But as the film goes on and like the Mafia is kind of destroyed and like Whitey Bulger is still getting immunity, like you do get the feeling he's just starting to just lie to himself. Like even his partner says that one point, like you're just lying to yourself at this point. That if you think Whitey Bulger's for the greater good, like that, and I always love the fact that Joel Edgerton's character, he's always loyal. Like he is by no means, well, he's scumbag in the way that he is a dirty agent, but he's not scumbag in the way that like he will use people and toss them the moment that they're not useful to him. No, he's always loyal to Whitey Bulger and their deal, which makes him a very interesting character. So Joel Edgerton also did a fantastic job. There was also some great supporting work from. Sorry, I wrote these names down from Corey Stoll, Kevin Bacon, Rory Cochrane. I hope I'm saying these right names. Sorry, probably not. David Morber, and especially Dakota Johnson. Say her only major thing besides this was 50 Shades of Grey. To go from that to this, like, it's a brief role from Dakota Johnson, but my god was she memorable in her brief role. Did such a good job at emoting and just seeming like so like destroyed for an event that happens. Just did a great job. So all the acting in this movie was fantastic from beginning to end, and another thing I like about this movie, I like how this movie was kind of morally gray at first, just like how you can see, like, you are kind of seeing things through the eyes of Joel Edgerton's character. Like, at first you could honestly make think, like, for like at the for like the first half of this movie, you're like, they are giving this guy like the ability to become like one of the world's most powerful, like one of Boston's most famous criminals, but like on the other hand, they are bringing down the entire Boston Mafia through him. So, like, I like how, like, you can also, like, just like Joel Edgerton, you can also start thinking in your head, maybe this guy at first was for the greater good. So I love that, and that and the film just always had a really cool and slick feel. It's just an incredibly well-made movie. It always has a very dark and uncomfortable feel to it. Just a great directed film all around. But let's go on the bad in this movie. I did not think by any means this was a perfect movie. One, this movie's a bit too long. You will start just checking your... This movie is very serious through and through, so there are a few points you'll just be checking your watch. Like, how long have I been sitting here again? Benedict Cumberbatch, I love Benedict Cumberbatch, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't the best in this movie. Like, I felt bad for him because you could tell he was trying his damnest to get a good Boston accent going from beginning to end in this movie, but the accent could get kind of awkward in a few times. There's a few times it sounds like he's just trying too hard to get a good accent going, so it gets distracting. There's times like the very thick British accent is starting to slip through a bit, and so Cumberbatch wasn't the best. This is by no means his best performance in this movie. For the framing device of this film could get a bit odd, because like the whole framing device, it's supposed to be the members of Whitey Bulger's gang, like, say, giving information to the FBI about their time with him, hoping to get reduced sentences. But they're like, that's okay, but there are scenes you'll just be like, wait, there's no one else around here, though. How the hell do these guys know that? Like, none of these guys who are giving information are in this scene. How would they know what's going on right now? So that wasn't that great. I always complain about this for biopics. Like, for biopics that there's a lot of like people to them, like, and they start saying like what happened to certain people. If you're gonna do that, say what happened to most of the try to say like what happened to all the major people, because there's a few major characters in this movie that like they don't explain what happened to them after the events of the film. So or the actual real life events. So that always gets on my nerve. It's not for this movie specifically, just biopics in general when they did that. And Depp's makeup could get pretty distracting in a few scenes. It definitely there's just something off about it. Like, his eyes are a bit too glassy. Like, the makeup looks kind of CGI. Like, it definitely feels like you hit the uncanny valley. You almost felt like they were just one step from having a fantastic makeup job done, but they were just one step too short, and they just plummeted straight down into the uncanny valley. Because there will be scenes when they're just close up on his face, and you're just kind of like, that looks kind of odd, and I can't really put my finger on why. Like, it's definitely the uncanny valley for Depp, but the major issue with this movie is you really get the feeling that the writer and director of this movie was so much more interested in the story of the alliance between the FBI and Whitey Bulger than they were about Whitey Bulger's rise to power in the criminal underground. And because if you're in this movie thinking this is going to be a film about Whitey Bulger and how he became one of like Boston's like most famous criminals, like, you're not going to get that here. Well, you kind of get, because you get the whole thing that like the main reason he was able to get so powerful was because he got immunity from the FBI for a while. But besides that though, it's not about that though. This is far more about a movie of just Joel Edgerton this is not, honestly, when you get down to it, this is a movie more about Joel Edgerton Joel Edgerton's story than it is about Whitey Bulger's story, because like you will just be because so much of it is just like the movie is just Joel Edgerton trying to keep this alliance between the FBI and Whitey Bulger going, and so much about trying to keep the alliance going, and just not about just how they're trying to cover up how he tries to save both their asses. Like, but it's not about like, and then we'll just cut back to White Bulger, and you just see he's a more powerful criminal, he's a more violent criminal. You're just wondering, like, you're just gonna kind of, you'll start just kind of thinking that, like, okay, like, could I wanted to see a progression of how he got more and more deep, like, insane, because like, there's like one major event that happens with White Bulger that, like, okay, you can understand why he starts going off the edge after that, but after that, it's kind of just like, it'll just cut back to him again and again. It'll just be more and more violent. You'll be like, I would like to see a progression here, but you don't get that. So go into that movie knowing that, because I heard people who didn't like this movie thought it would be much more about White Bulger's rise to power than it was about the whole FBI alliance. Know that going in, and even though I thought the stuff with the FBI alliance was very interesting, I would have liked to see a lot more about it, about what, like, how he became so powerful. So but those are my main issues with the movie. So, for our final score, I still thought this was a great movie, great biopic. I'm gonna give Black Mass a very solid 4 out of 5. Great movie. I loved it. Great to see Johnny Depp back in full form. It was a great movie. Just a great crime drama. Very interesting biopic. Oh, and as a quick side note, I was told to say this, one of my friend's cousins, not cousins, uncle, is in this movie, so shout out to David DeBlack. He got one line and then he got shot, but he did a good job with his one line before he got shot, so, that's for you, buddy, and your family. So, YouTube, as always, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.